Hi everybody and welcome to Eat Better Together. Today we are going to be talking about fancy ramen. So this is just a really simple way that my mom used to spruce up something that is in pretty much everybody's pantry. A lot of people really like ramen. My parents didn't use it all the time, but it is a really easy thing to be able to make, and my mom always wanted to make sure that it had a lot of good things in it for us if we were going to be eating it. So let's talk about a couple of ways to spruce up or make ramen a little bit more fancy. First, I like to start with a medium-sized pot and then fill it with water. And then I prefer to use a lid because it gets the water going just a little bit faster. And again, medium heat to medium high things that we can be adding to our ramen to make it a little bit more fancy. So today I'm just going to be using the chicken flavored, but there's a couple of really simple things that you can be doing. If you want to add a little bit of protein, this is the Great Value chunk chicken breast. It's a canned product, so it's an easy thing to keep in your pantry and use whenever you feel the need. And then there are so many ways that you can add vegetables to this. I really like carrots in it. Today we are going to be using fresh carrots, but this is a great option as well. They sell these in the freezer department at Walmart, and you can also find them in most grocery stores. You can also get a variety blend of vegetables, and it comes with green beans, carrots, and peas. There's also canned options that you can add in as well. And this is not necessarily a meal that you want to have in your home just being a regular staple. Ramen can be really high in sodium, as well as with all the noodles it is high in carbs as well, but this is a great way to do a fast and simple meal. It takes less than 10 minutes, and it will give you some options to add vegetables as well as either chicken for protein or eggs for protein. Alrighty, so we have the water on the stove and it's getting a little warmer. It's starting to get ready to boil. And while that's heating up, lots of times I will go ahead and cut up my fresh carrots. If you're using something like the frozen or the canned, it's not a big deal. You just wait and you can throw those in a little bit. So if you are using fresh, it is important to get these in pretty quickly, or else they won't get very soft while you're cooking. So I'm going to get those in and pop the lid back on. The other thing that we had just talked about that I really like to use is eggs. My mom used to use this, and it almost makes the ramen similar to like an egg flour soup. You can even add soy sauce, but for us, I like to keep the sodium down a little bit, and so I don't add the soy sauce to it. So let's go ahead and crack the eggs. And I'm making this for 2 servings. I generally do 2 eggs per person. And again, that's up to your discretion. Alright. I personally like to just use a fork to whisk up the eggs because I'm going to use the fork when I put the eggs into my soup. It helps to make it so that the eggs are not super clumpy, and it makes it super convenient because you have less dishes to do. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a huge fan of doing dishes. Alright. I also really enjoy adding some pepper in at this point, and you can just pop that right in with the eggs. Super easy. And then it doesn't get mixed. Again, we like to keep the sodium down, so I don't add any salt to this. Alright, the carrots are just about ready so that we can add the noodles. Alrighty, so we have the carrots going at a nice rolling boil. I've got our egg ready, and then while I was waiting for that to bring come up to a boil, I went ahead and opened up the ramen and the ramen seasoning packets. Over here I have our canned chicken. I'm not going to add all of this chicken to this one meal. Pro tip from my mom, I purchase the same kind of lunch meat all the time, and this is a great way to have all of the same size containers. So you just keep the container that your lunch meat comes in, and you have the same lids, same bottoms. You don't have to feel guilty about tossing one out if it cracks or anything like that. And it's super convenient to have these on hand if you send leftovers home with somebody, if you're going somewhere and you're bringing food. I use them all the time for cookie dough to pop in the freezer. So many uses. So I'm gonna end up using some of the chicken, and then I'm gonna put the rest in here for a different recipe. All right, so we've got this at a boil, so let's go ahead and get started with our ramen. Ramen's super simple to make. I like to break mine up a little bit just because I don't like how long the noodles are otherwise. So we'll just add that in. And your boil will cease as we add in another package. And then, like I said, I already opened up the seasoning packets. I like to add that in when I do the noodles. Get that in there. And you can add only one package of seasoning if you prefer. Then I'm going to go ahead and stir all of this in, get it into the water, and let it cook for 3 minutes. Alrighty, so we've got this at a boil still. We've got about half a minute left. I went ahead and put the chicken into my handy dandy container. It's ready to go for our meal for later this week. And this is what I'm putting in. It's about a cup's worth of chicken. That's for 2 servings. And then our egg is still ready to go. We're gonna get that going here in just a moment. Couple things to remember is that you're going to want the water to be boiling when you add the egg in. And I did not do so good this week. I forgot to pick up frozen peas, so I won't be adding any peas to this recipe today, but I will walk you through the steps if you want to add the peas. So first we're going to add the chicken because we want the temperature to stay at a boil for when we do the egg. And so then we're just going to give that a quick stir. Get that chicken in there. Those carrots are looking nice and soft. Noodles are looking good as well. So something to remember with the peas is I generally add them last because I prefer to use the frozen peas for this recipe. And the reason I add them last is because I keep it at a boil for the egg, and then after the egg gets thrown in, the temperature comes down. When it comes back up to a boil, I add in the frozen peas, and it's twofold. It cooks the peas in just a matter of like a minute, minute and a half, and it also cools the soup down just a little bit. So then it makes it more ready to eat a little bit faster. And so when I'm done with the eggs, when it comes back up to a boil, I generally turn off the heat, and then that's when I add the peas in. Alright, so this is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and add the egg. Alrighty, so we've got our fork ready, and then we've got our egg ready in here. The pot is boiling. We're just going to let it drizzle in and stop. Whisk, whisk, whisk. Drizzle in and stop. Whisk it up. Temperature is going to come down just a little bit as we start to add that egg in. And again. And you just repeat this until all of your egg is used. Alrighty, and that's the finished product, folks. And again, you can use all sorts of vegetables in this. Today we're just using carrot, chicken, and egg as our addition. And that's how you make fancy ramen. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching Eat Better Together. I hope that you learned something new today, and if you have ramen in your pantry, I hope that you found some inspiration of using it a couple of different ways. Alrighty, have a good one, and thanks for watching.